Welcome to the Side Hustle Heroes podcast. Welcome, Jim Ed. Wait a second. Oh, this is not Jim Ed anymore. This is Cody. Sorry to break it to you guys, but Jim Ed's no longer with the podcast. Cody is his replacement. You probably know him from past podcasts. But welcome, Cody.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I think it's probably gonna be a pretty big upgrade over Gym Ed, so I think folks will get some good data.
Absolutely. Yes, it looks like you have a guitar back there too. That's really cool. So, do you play the
Yep,
guitar a lot?
I do. I used to play all the time, but here lately I just pick it up every now and then when I'm working to take a break, stuff like that.
What kind of music do you like to play?
Just simple stuff, mostly country music. I mean, just I like to mess around with that, and I do a little bit of writing, but it's been a long time since I've done that.
You see how much more talent you have than Jim Ed already. It's
Well, the
amazing.
bar is
Yeah,
pretty low. The bar is pretty low.
this podcast is going to just go crazy here. So awesome. Well, all jokes aside, Jim Ed will be joining us shortly here. He's actually in a car, so he's going to join us, and we will, obviously let him in when he gets here. But in the meantime, let's go through our numbers. Why don't you start with your numbers, since your numbers are well. This is gonna be exciting. So I know we talk a lot, but for the sake of our audience, we'll be asking questions as if we don't know all the answers. I'm sure we're going to learn something new today. But we do know that Cody's been going crazy lately, getting lots
Yep.
of products. Can't wait to hear all the details. But yeah, just go ahead and tell us your yesterday numbers, past 7-day numbers, and past 30-day numbers.
Okay, so yesterday I did $59.21. The last 7 days has been $456.02. And the last 30 days has been $1,172.37.
Nice.
So, yeah, significant uptick for me because I think before this, my biggest 30 days has been about $600.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been trending. I've had some $70, $80 days here over the last week and a half. So it's been kind of exciting to see the work that I'm putting in kind of start to pay off.
And I know we'll get into the details more, but did that bonus, I think we said this to some of our, I think one of our podcasts, but Jim Ed and I did not get that special bonus, the commission bonus. You did. Is that
hmm
bonus still kicking in? Is that still active?
I thought it went to the 27th, I
Okay.
think. So I think it's over. Maybe there's some residual stuff getting shipped that was ordered and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's over.
Were you able to tell the impact of the bonus? Did it show you like these are bonus dollars, or was it just like you can't really tell?
I couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
My uptick definitely coincides with the holiday season,
Yeah.
but it also coincides with, in the last 30 days, I probably put over 100 videos up. And so I think it's caught up. Some of them are catching on the carousels and things like that. And so that's starting to go well. And what's funny about it is you never know what product you review is going to do well. I've got it's like a mouse and rodent deterrent. Like it's
Yeah.
like a strobe light and blinking. And I think I've sold like 60 of them this month.
Wow,
I mean,
man.
and so like when I was doing the review, I was looking at them like, this is kind of stupid. It's not really a high dollar item. It's kind of a waste of time. And then it's turned out to be one of my best sellers. So you just never know.
So, is revenue wise, is it one of the top ones also?
Probably so. It's up there. Yeah, it's probably up there.
I've sold this paper. Like it's just all this is really just a. I mean, it's not this Amazon Basics paper like this, but it's like more
hmm
cardstock. But it's kind
hmm
of like this, and I've sold so much of that, and it's just ridiculous. You kind of think sometimes like, well, it's not like you're actually physically selling a product because I sell on Amazon, right? So if you have to sell a product 100 times to make
hmm
what one product would do selling it one time, then you probably wouldn't sell that often, right? You wouldn't.
Right.
It's not worth the like with Amazon FBA. You're probably not going to like. You know what? I'm not going to make. If I'm only making 30 cents on something, it's not even worth selling. But with
Right.
this, why not? You just do the review
Yeah.
one time. It's up and running. There's no inventory, so it just really turns things upside down as far as the way I certainly was thinking because I
hmm
was always like, well, it's Amazon. I don't know how this would all work, but it's very different. And so I still think it's much better if you can emphasize and put focus on the more expensive items. You have much
Sure.
bigger paydays, but
hmm
this is kind of what we say, this should be part of the portfolio of stuff that you review,
Yes.
right? Those
And
lower price items,
and so what I've kind of come to learn is when you're doing lower price stuff, you need to get it done, in one take, two
Yeah.
max,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
then it's worth your time. But I misspoke. I just looked it up. I've sold 76 of those this month, and I've made $133.60 off of
Dude,
them, and it's a $29 product.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So
That's good commission then. It's like you're making like pretty decent commission. Is that 4% or something?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So it's great. It's great.
So I know you're really close. You said 30-day numbers, but have you looked at your month numbers also? Do you have that?
Yeah. So I'm over. Let's see. There he is.
Oh, what are you doing here?
Guys?
What are you doing here, Jim Ed?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt your all's podcast?
You did.
Oh, sorry, Andrew. Thank you for letting me on your podcast late.
So welcome, Jim Ed. We are glad that you're
Thank you.
here. Cody and I were just talking about our numbers, and let's see. Actually, is interesting. We're talking about some of the lower price items. He has that the mouse trap thing. What were we talking about? Mouse.
Yeah, it's like a deterrent, it's like a strobe light and all that. I've sold, I think I said 76 of them this month, and it's something that that I would not have reviewed, but I'm glad I did because I've made almost $135 off of it this month.
Giving away those trade secrets, baby.
Hey, $25 item, you said too. So Jim Ed,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, dude, it's like there are a lot of items that, and we were talking about the whole idea of like you probably wouldn't sell something that's going to only bring in that much money if you're doing like Amazon FBA, like where you're only making a little bit of profit or something versus a really expensive item. But in this case, why not do it if it's simple? And like I think the key is do it, get in, get going, do it fast. Don't mess around with it. Don't take a whole lot of time with some of these lower price items. If it's probably below $10, it's probably not worth doing. But it's good to have a diverse portfolio. But obviously, if you can get some expensive products that are selling really well, why wouldn't you do that? So good stuff. Well, Jim, I was about to do my numbers, and then we can round it off finish up with your numbers. That sound good?
Awesome. Yes, sir.
Cool. All right. So, yeah, yesterday my numbers are just like, well, yesterday it's $16, and then past 7 days $164, and past 30 days $745. So pretty disappointing. I think a couple podcasts ago I was thinking I'd be probably making more closer to $1,500 this month, and then I guess obviously this is past 30, but pretty close. I'm not going to make over $1,000 this month. And I think I may have only done like one review this month. So big difference. We'll get into these numbers, but Cody, I think you did a lot more than one review this month, didn't you?
Yeah, it's closer to 100.
Wait a second. Let's not breeze past $745. I mean, I know you've done better than that, but that's a pretty fancy car payment right there, $745.
Yeah, for not doing much of anything, right?
Well, you did some work in the past, and didn't you tell me today on the phone that you still had some stuff that you did, like one of your very first videos is still getting sales?
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about this. I think when we first started doing our podcast, we were wondering what was going to happen, and we've had some things fall off. And Cody, I think that's something we can commit saying we'll talk about this later. But hey, we're talking about it. So, are you still getting some sales from items like when you first started?
So y'all remember that very first video I did? Y'all helped me with to get into the program. It was a DeWalt little power pack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm still selling those.
So I'm talking about. Guys, I'm telling you, get in. When you get in, these things will continue to sell. They don't always, like some things fall off, but what I found is the very first, one of my first 3 reviews also, it's still in the listing. It's still on Amazon, still in the carousel. I'm still getting sales. So it's beautiful. And sometimes I'll look and say, where am I getting? I'm getting sales on something like I'm this Google Nest doorbell. I didn't think I'd ever get. I mean, that's a very popular item, right? I'm getting sales every day from that. I don't even know where I am. I'm not on the carousel for that product. Who knows?
Yep.
But getting sales. So cool. So yeah, I'm stoked, man. I don't know. I'm so excited. Probably some caffeine. And by the way, Brahms is a very underrated restaurant. I really do think it's underrated. I really like it a lot.
Nice.
Moving on.
Jim Ed's like, not so much. All right, yeah. Jim Ed, let's end with your numbers.
Well, real quick, Cody, what was your monthly? I'm sorry, I missed it. Did you?
We did. My last 30 days is 1,172.
Woo! Dang it! Yes. That's good. All right, cool.
Yeah, hot dog.
Getting on to my numbers. Hey, does anybody remember what I said on a couple podcasts ago? How much I was going to do on November? I know you know. You two know because we talked about it.
$100,000.
$100,000 for November.
$1 million.
Yes. Yeah. No, I said I would probably do 5,000 for November, and then we got like 3 weeks into November, and I'm like, ugh, okay. But the last few days have been a couple $100 or so. Today was awesome. So my yesterday's numbers are $362. So that is definitely helping put me on track. My last 7 days is 1806.
Nice.
Very
So
good.
yeah, the last 7 days has boosted it up because obviously if I was doing 1806 for 4 weeks in a row, I'd be well past $5,000. But let's see what I've got for the last 30. And that is a total of $5,059. So all I have to do is maintain for tomorrow because I'll have a day drop off and a day catch on. So it's like I'm going to actually do the $5,000 for November. Yay.
Congratulations, buddy.
Nice.
Can I ask you a question though, Jim Ed? With that additional money, are you going to invest in maybe buying some new shirts since you had that one shirt you wear on every podcast?
Yeah, I think I will. I'll treat to myself. What would you like to see? Because it's going to be, I can do some more. Well, hang on. Let's get the parameters. This logo will be right here. Would you like to see some different colors? Would you like to see collared? I do have collars. I can start mixing those in a little bit. But you will see the improvement channel patch right here, just like you're going to see Cody play us out on that guitar in the background with a little ditty before we go.
How about a non-improvement channel shirt? That would be very.
I could take my shirt off, but it would probably affect our rating. Yeah. So we probably should keep it PG.
And for the audience, like you do have multiple of those black shirts, don't you? That you wear. You don't just have one.
Yeah. I've actually got 8 of these T-shirts, and I've got 2 different colored collar shirts. So I wear these in all of my YouTube videos and pretty much in everything that I do on social media.
Yeah, hang on a second.
Hi, Andrew. Love you.
Goodbye. I'm out. All right. So Cody has so many exciting things to talk about, and let's not waste time talking about shirts. That's my bad. And let's talk about Cody because he's leaving. He's got something going on here in a few minutes. So let's maximize the time we have with Cody.
Yeah, so, Cody, what's going on that you got to leave so early?
And not advertising on a podcast, I can tell you that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yep.
All right. Awkward. Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, boy.
So, man, Cody, I don't know. Something about you adding this, I don't know what this is, but the vibe is good here. So, guys, whoever watching this podcast, leave a message. Hit us up on the Facebook group if you think this is this is really cool, having these 3 guys on here. Maybe it balances out some of Jim Ed's nonsense or something, or maybe it balances some of my nonsense. Who knows? But either way, I like this vibe a lot. So, Cody, I think you're welcome to join anytime you want to. And even if Jim Ed can't make it a certain day, maybe that'd be, kind of cool just for you and I to do it.
Yeah.
Cody, look, man, you can come on as a guest with Andrew anytime. I still get paid the same.
I was going to say, I'll have my agent send y'all my contract.
Yeah, man.
Sounds good. All right.
The joke for everybody out there that don't know, none of us are getting paid anything for this at this point. So, yeah, pay would be the same.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Do you hear that tape in the background? Do you hear that any sounds coming at all? Or is it okay? Okay, cool. It's just bothering me more than it's bothering you guys.
Yeah.
I got a worker here. He's helping me my Amazon stuff and he's making some noise, but hey, it's good. Work's getting done. So Cody told us a little bit about, how you're doing, certainly your numbers. And so, I mean, the last podcast we were on, I don't even remember what your numbers were, but these are certainly way higher. So can you give us a sense for how much you really have, your numbers have kind of gone up? And then I guess specifically probably a good thing to kind of start with is how many videos do you have now? And how has that growth really happened over the last couple months?
Yeah. So right now I think I have 211 videos, and prior to this month, I think my biggest month was like $590 something. So I've almost doubled my business. And I think that coincides with me doubling my videos, or more than doubling my videos, right? There's not a direct correlation. So if you're out there posting videos and you're not seeing a spike, don't worry about it. Just keep posting, because it just takes a few of them to catch on, to get on the carousel, to get hot, for you to really start making more money. And then what happens is you may have a day where you don't have any big items sell, but you have so many items up that you're still doing decent numbers, right? So what happens is your floor continues to rise on what your numbers are going to look like. Mm-hmm. And then you'll have a good day mixed in when you sell something and get like a $20 commission for one product. And so that's where you see the jump. But yeah, it's just all about posting videos is what for me, what's changed things.
That's awesome. So what is the reason, what sort of, you'd say the main reason for your recent growth would be?
So getting in with a couple different manufacturers, or product reps or whatever, that, they send me product to review, and I do them in a timely fashion, try to do a good job on them, try to get them turned as fast as I can, and just keep the products coming in. So that's been a big deal for me, is having access to product.
How many products do you think you've gotten from them so far? Like just overall?
I would bet you, of my 211 videos, I bet you almost 150 of them, maybe. I mean, maybe I'm off a little bit, but not by much.
And those 150,
Wow.
you've gotten those really fast too. Like it's in the last couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know you haven't been doing this for very long, but a lot of that's probably come from the last 30 days.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And
wow.
and a lot of it, like, so I set a goal to get to 200 by the end of November.
Yeah.
And I was able to go past that over Thanksgiving break
Yep.
this week, and I'm going to be shooting videos. And so one of the most important things is stay organized in the process. And I don't always do that, but like I try to keep spreadsheets, and
Yep.
like when stuff comes into review, organize it, make sure that I've got everything that I need, who sent me the product, so on and so forth. And so that's a big part of it, because if not, you can spend 30 minutes trying to find out where this product come from, So organization is a big part, and that's something that I'm hit or miss on. If I could get better at it, then I could do even more videos.
As you grow in that and start getting more products, as I had to learn the hard way as well. Seemingly like that's the best way to learn, but yeah, you got to be more organized, or you just get frustrated because, if you're looking through 6 different manufacturers to find out 8 conversations ago who sent you this product, so you can get the right everything put on the listing. Well, then when you start multiplying that by 20 different suppliers, it's just like, okay, at this point, it's impossible. I've literally got to the point on some of mine where it's just like, I'm gonna scan the product, and hopefully it's the right product, and I'm gonna post it. And when I post it, what'll happen is they'll come back to me, the person who sent it, and go, "Hey, you got this on the wrong one," and it's like, "Oh, okay, I'll fix it."
I thought you were getting organized with your little system there, your software that kind of, you get it in, you get the link, where it is.
I do, Andrew. The hard part is you will get offered 100 products and you'll receive 80 of them. So I've made a category that says approved products, and then once they're approved, I move them over into the next column that says received products.
But you have the link to it immediately, right?
I put all the link and stuff. But sometimes I'll say, yes, send it. And then if I don't stop right then and there and add it to that deal, then it doesn't get done. And then next thing you know, 3 weeks or 3 or 4 days have passed. The product arrived. I set it on the shelf. I get COVID, and then next thing you know, it's a week later, and I'm looking at it and going, who'd this come from?
I just got in from being out of town, and there was probably 15 boxes, right? And I haven't updated anything because I was traveling for work. And so now tomorrow after work, probably what it's going to look like is Friday evening. Yeah. I'm probably going to be updating my spreadsheets, and then Saturday I'll be shooting them.
So you don't, as you approve them, you don't add it to the spreadsheet?
When I can, I do. But like I was traveling on planes and doing ideally I do. But it seems like I fall behind every time.
You might look at the Kibana board like I use, because the nice thing about it is you can just add the little window in there with the product, and I'll get it on the microphone, and I'll be like, who it's from. I'll just say like Idaho, then the product, the ladder, and then I turn the mic off and I copy it and then paste it over.
How about you just monitor my stuff for me and update it? So I can stay on top of it.
Yeah.
I love doing Google Sheets. I mean, I do Google Sheets for all my inventory ordering for Amazon. I don't get as many products from the manufacturers you guys get, for sure. But I mean, I think your spreadsheet you can make that work for sure. But so all those products you're getting, how many suppliers do you have right now that are actively sending you products?
I have 3 that are actively sending, and I had a 4th that sent me a couple things, but we'll see if that one continues or not. But I've got like my main 3 that are sending me stuff every week.
That's great. And what's the average price point you think of those products?
Man, it's probably $25 to $50 is probably average. But you'll get a $250 product. You'll get several $100 products. But with that, you've also got to do some $10 products and some $5 products. And Unless they're just really difficult, cheap products, I don't turn them down because I want those suppliers to continue sending. Like I don't want to come across as, oh, he's only cherry picking, so we're not going to, we're not going to use them. So I do everything I can.
That's interesting. I turn away almost everything under $10, like $15 products. These cheesy little things, I just turn them down. So that makes sense. You're saying, yeah, that's fine. But what if it's something just really weird, like I don't know, that you're not even able to use for anything? Do you still do those?
If they're easy. If they're hard, I don't. Like, I mean, I had some eyebrow trimmers and some nose hair trimmers, right, that got sent to me. And something else that you can look for to try to become a favorite for these people is the first time I turned it down, and like 3 or 4 days later, she came back and asked again, which told me that all of our other influencers didn't do it. So I needed to take it because she needed me to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I had a razor, and I didn't actually use the razor. I just talked about the razor.
I can tell you didn't.
It's kind of awkward.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
I'm getting my nose here trimmed here. You could say this works really well. Like, right. I mean, how awkward is like I'm shaving my beard right now. That's right. Like, I mean, I guess.
Actually, the weirdest one I think I've done is an earwax removal system, where like I held like a deal and it flushed, but it actually worked really well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did that sell any? Have you noticed?
I don't think so.
I was just curious. I see those on TikTok a lot, and I kind of wonder a lot of times, like if I see a product that's offered and I've seen people advertising it on TikTok, I'm like, man, this might be hot, because I think a lot of people nowadays will watch a commercial on TV or see something on TikTok and then go to Amazon to go buy it. You know what I mean? That's how I do anyway. Maybe it's because I'm old, but yeah, I thought that was an interesting one. I was kind of thinking that one might do better. I didn't know.
It may have. Go ahead.
Yeah.
My best product I think I got from China was for the dog paw. You put it in this little thing and it rotates. It has these brushes and it cleans the paws off. And I had my dog do it. And it was like, the dog was perfect. She was so cute. She just got there and lifted her paw up. And I think one of the reasons that did so well is people are like, oh my gosh, it's like a cute dog in the video. So that's a gimme. I have these two dogs I love putting on camera anyway, because they're just so cute to me. I mean, they're funny. They're all over the place. They're on Instagram, they're TikTok, they're on Facebook, they're on YouTube. But it's been a lot of fun. But it's great that they're products that are pet related, that I always have them in there. Always have them in there and it makes a lot of difference. So I think anytime you can demonstrate, for sure, is good. And I think people love that. And sometimes some things are easier to demonstrate than others, for sure.
Yep.
What were you going to say though, Cody?
I think just trying to be good to the vendors, right? That keeps them sending you product.
Yeah, I think you're 100% on like helping them out. I was talking with one of mine last night, and she said, "You want to do the product?" Let me see if I've got the actual thing here. She asked me to do a product, and I was like, "Nah, I don't really want to unless you need me to do it." And she's like, "Yeah, if you would." I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." So it helps, but there was some 150 pack of stand-up metallic Ziploc bags. And I was like, it won't be hard though. So I was like, if you need me to, I'll do it. She's like, well, yeah, if you would. But this is somebody I've worked with for a while. But to your point, you're exactly right. I just looked through mine real quick. I have 16 active people that I get product from, and I've got about a dozen that are, occasionals. And if I'm wanting to do a lot of reviews, I'm wanting to get a lot of free product in, all I'd have to do is go and just copy and paste a message to them going, hey, you got anything for me to review? To all, for me, about 30 of them. And I'd start getting inundated with stuff to take. But yeah, those people that you don't know yet, or that are just reaching out, and I'm at this point, I'm having 2 or 3 a week reach out. If you'll go ahead and get the ball rolling with them and go ahead and take whatever they're throwing out the first time or two and try to get it knocked out pretty quick for them, then you'll have somebody that's looking for more help, because they're getting paid whenever we're getting these things completed for them.
Of course they are.
Word in the street is you've been getting paid for some of these product reviews, which is really interesting. Jim Ed's been working for free. I've been working for free as well for the most part. So is that true, or do we just dream that?
No, it's true. What's funny is the one that started paying me, she was like, is it okay if I just pay you the same rate that I'm paying Jim Ed? And I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And come to find out, I'm not sure that she's actually paying Jim Ed.
Zero, because
Yeah.
it's zero.
Yeah.
But then that gave me the confidence with everybody else to go, hey, it's $10, $20 a video, and everybody said yes.
Is that the one you got nicknamed Idaho?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
so funny story. He had told me about this one that he had been working with for a while that always pays him on every video.
Yeah.
And then because he had mentioned her name, she reached out to me, and I recognized who it was, and I knew she always paid $10 a video. So she's like, how does it work? I go, I review videos, $10 a video. She's like, all right, sounds good. And
Nice.
she's actually a really good one.
She is.
Cody and I shared the Idaho one there. And, that's one thing. If you're in a community with some folks that are doing this and you want to get started, hey, why not? These people are sending products to different people. Why not some of the different people they're sending them to be some friends of yours?
Well, and it works out well too, because like there was one time Idaho wanted to send me a truck bed cover for the type of truck that Jim Ed has, and I didn't have it. So I was actually able to help her because I said, hey, I can't do this, but Jim Ed can. And then she sent it to Jim Ed, and it was a win for everybody. It helped her find somebody to do it. Got Jim Ed a new bed cover, and
and I love it. I'm actually using that bed cover. I took my old one off and got the new one on.
Nice.
Yes. Hey guys, I hate to jump, but I do have to go.
Well, it's good timing, Cody. Thank you so much.
Yep.
And good job and everything. Congratulations on your progress.
Man. Thanks, guys. Hope to come back soon.
Take care, Cody.
All right.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Well, Jim Ed,
all right. Glad he's gone.
Glad he's gone. I don't really have anything else to say to you. Can we? Would you? I don't know if this is awkward, but would you be okay if you don't be on anymore and Cody can just be my new co-host? Are you okay with that?
It still pays the same, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
look. I'm here to fight or something.
I'm here to give the people what they want. If they want more Cody, then more Cody it is.
You're making it way too easy. It's like you're supposed to say, "No, man, we were so good together."
I'm way too agreeable. Sorry.
Yeah. We got to inject some more humor.
How dare you? How dare you try to replace me?
So we just need to do a little more humor than we've been doing. Maybe.
Well, hey, if you guys weren't watching this on the video, Cody had a guitar in the background that was very visible, and somehow we let him skate right on out of here without playing anything.
He did talk about it, though, his guitar.
Oh, so, did he? Does he play?
Before you got on. We talked about a lot of stuff before you jumped on.
Yeah, I've only known Cody for like 15 years. Does he play the guitar? I have no idea.
He said he plays occasionally. So,
yeah. He's not very good.
Why would you assume he's not very good? Maybe he's amazing.
If he was amazing,
Bon Jovi said he didn't play the guitar. Does Bon Jovi play the guitar?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. If Bon Jovi said he doesn't play that much anymore, would you say he must not be very good?
Bon Jovi doesn't say
that. If he did.
I hope you're not talking smack about Bon Jovi.
You gave love
riding
a bad name. Yeah. Anyway. Good stuff. So, Jim Ed, this is we're turning the corner towards the holidays. I think on my mind right now is just like, at some point, I feel like most of us hit a wall at some point with products to review, and I think it's really cool that you're extending. There's different creative ways to do this, but one way you guys are really doing a good job on is extending through these relationships with these suppliers. I realize I've made mistakes by turning away a lot of products. I'm like, I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use this thing. So I just say no a lot. I say no constantly because I just don't want to do it. It's like a cheesy little product. But that may be what caused them not to come back to me very much because I didn't ever start doing it with them. So the first it sounds like when they first approach you, you probably should say yes to the first maybe 2 or 3. And they may open the door to more products after that. Sounds like.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's the way things work. Obviously – you've got zero relationship when they reach out and go, do you want to do this? And if you say no, are they really going to come back and ask again? They might, but unless you're like, hey, look, I'd really like to work with you, but I'm looking for something more in this category. Do you ever get this? But if you're trying to build some type of back and forth rapport with them, you may be able to establish that. But Andrew, I would say if you wanted today to get into starting to get some free product, you've had people reach out to you, you've got a record of that. You could easily start reaching out to them and checking with them every 2 or 3 days. I've noticed that the culture that we get these products from are, I don't know if flaky is the right word, but they will just if they feel like you don't want to fool with them anymore, then they'll stop. They won't bother you anymore. I have one product line that's a clothing line that goes along with welding. They just quit communicating with me, and I'm like, whatever happened? And then somebody finally, like 6 months later, comes back and, well, maybe not 6 months, but 2 months later, comes back and is like, oh, I'm sorry, the person that was dealing with you don't work here anymore, and sorry. And then they got kind of flaky and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Long story short, I got back with them last night. They're sending me like 3 pieces of clothing, and then they're like, get these videos knocked out, and we'll see, about getting you some more stuff.
Maybe I have some new shirts to wear on the podcast.
No, we won't be wearing them on the podcast. Don't worry.
Okay, sounds good. There's a big clothing company that approached me, and I was like, okay, let's do this. And then he goes, hey, can you send me an email so I can take the conversation off of chat onto email? Sounds good. Never heard back. So,
what clothing company was that?
None of your business.
You ever heard of a Carhartt?
Yes.
Well, the company that's for the welding stuff that I'm going to be doing is not Carhartt, but it's like that, but you've never heard of it.
Mine had like a name Donkey or something in it. Donkey something. It was pretty good thing on Amazon.
Oh, is it Mad Donkey?
I think it was Happy Donkey.
No,
I don't know, dude.
Anyway.
I don't remember what it was, but regardless, he hadn't got back to me. So, but yeah, so I think that the idea is, and another thing too, I don't know how many people out there listening are doing all their own reviews. I mean, for the most part, I've got all my own reviews, but something that made me think about it was when my father-in-law, I didn't even ask him. He just said, hey, Andrew, I did a Makita. I had a Makita and I did a review for this. And I just thought you might want to be interested in it. So I'll show you the video. If you like it, take it. And I was like, okay. And it was great. And it's actually one of my best videos. I told my father-in-law, and he was just like delighted. He's like, oh, that's great, Andrew. He's like, he was so excited because he knew he could help me. So yeah. I don't think there's really, I don't think there's really any issues with having some of your family members do reviews like that. And so don't, if you find yourself busy, don't, think outside the box a little bit and see maybe you've got some people around you that might be willing to do some reviews for you.
Well, of course, I know your father-in-law real well. You'd probably be doing good to just remind him again how it's still killing it. And, if you ever, catch yourself in the right mood and find another product you want to do a video on, man, I'll put it up and see how it does. I bet he'd be happy to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, what about Mr. Brad Davis? What if he had some stuff for you to do? Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
I don't think Brad Davis owns anything.
Yeah, all these people were named. There's a lot of people we know in common from our church. Brad Davis he's at our church the other day, so he gets more and more interesting as the years go by, doesn't he?
Brad's a great guy. He's on one of my YouTube videos of welding a trailer, and I kid around. I think he's a little bit of a minimalist though. I don't think he's not big on possessions, so no. He'd have a few shop tools, but I think we have a lot of the same shop tools, so it probably wouldn't be too fruitful. But yeah, it's funny you bring Brad up.
Yeah, Brad's a good man. Yeah, so good stuff. Trying to think what else is on. What else is on your mind, Jim? That you've been thinking about lately as it relates to.
Man, I tell you, what's on my mind is Christmas, man. Love the holidays. I took the week of Thanksgiving off, built a fence. That was the plan. That went smooth as silk. Actually went smoother than planned. We got finished earlier than planned. Enabled me to knock out, I want to say about 50 videos over that, Thanksgiving Day to Sunday. I am so close to 700 videos now. I'm going to try to get those done. My goal is to get those done before next Thursday, because tell them what we've got going on next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Oh, yes. We're going to be on a podcast. That's not dropping. I don't know when it's going to drop, but.
No, it's not dropping Thursday, but we're going to be
on a podcast with Jim Cockrum. We've mentioned him in our podcast a couple of times. We're really excited about it. Having a conversation with Jim. We're going to talk about just our experience with Amazon Influencer, and then we'll probably talk a little bit about my experience with Amazon FBA and everything. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But
it may even come up about my numbers with Amazon Influencer.
And and you know what else we're going to talk about a little bit is the upcoming course. Upcoming course. Where is that course going to be? Do you remember where that course is going to be, or where the link is where they can sign up and so they can be notified when the course becomes available?
Is it Proven AZ Influencers?
You got it. Dot net, or is it .com?
It's
It's .com.
is it influencers with an S?
It's proven AMZ. No, that's not right. Provenazinfluencer.com.
Influencer. Okay.
Singular. AZ.
So
Provenazinfluencer.com.
right now, if you go to that site, you can put in your information and get notified when the course drops. There may even be some discounts in there. So we are going to be dropping the course sometime in January. The date has not been set yet, but most of the course is it's getting pretty close. We'll just say that. But yeah, that's on my mind, Andrew. The holidays, we're going to do a little bit of travel. And dude, guess what comes with travel? New products. We're going to travel from the Dallas area that we're in over to the Knoxville, East Tennessee area. There'll be some products at my mother-in-law's house that we'll probably be catching. There's some products at my parents' house that we're going to be doing. And I've got some products. Of course, I don't have to worry. They're not listening to the podcast. I got a whole table of products right over there that are gift items that I've reviewed that I've gotten for free. So my dad's getting a bird feeder with a camera in it that can hook to your phone, and you can look at the birds. And
That's cool, man.
I think it'll even like identify the birds.
I think Cody has that one too.
I think Cody was going to get that one and ended up not getting it. It's probably a sore subject. Good thing you don't listen to the podcast either. Yeah, definitely did.
Awkward.
I got a set of kitchen knives that's going to my mom. Put her to work.
How many of these things are going to go through, Jim Ed?
I'll have to walk over there to go through very many more. There's about, I see about 6 items. I know you're getting tired. So the other thing that I'm excited about is what's coming along with Christmas is I have seen a large jump in numbers. And I'll say that it is not because I've added an additional 50 videos. It's just because the Christmas stuff's going on. Because I've noticed that my numbers are like, when my numbers started really spiking up, I still had like the 50 videos were still in process and things like that. So they certainly weren't placed on items and not really getting credit for them yet.
Yeah. Awesome.
What are you excited about, Andrew? What's going on in your world?
In terms of what?
Anything you want to talk about? You want to talk about the FBA? That's been killing it, hadn't you?
Yeah, it's been going really well. That's and I think it's gotten to a point where a couple of things. The business is as good as it's ever been, and I'm spending less time personally than I've ever spent on it. Also,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, delegation. So that's something I learned. Took me a long time. I remember the old Walmart days when I was my first job out of college before I went to grad school. Got a job in retail. It was a school of hard knocks right there, man. It's like I remember I was struggling. And the manager came by and he's just like, "Hey, did you get that project that I gave you?" "Well, no, I've been trying to help these customers out." He goes, "You ever heard the word delegation? You know what that word means?" And I was like, at the time, I was like, yeah, I do. But do you really? I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know the application of delegation. And he's kind of a jerk the way he said it to me, but it was a good lesson to realize that, hey, you have other people that that can do this for you. And we talked to the department managers, you talk to the associates, they can help you do that project. When I assigned that project to you, I didn't intend for you to do it yourself. And then finally, a manager in another store literally was a lot more clear. I don't think that manager even told me this, but the other manager said, "Hey, I need this stuff all cleared out." So I start clearing the stuff out. He goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm clearing the stuff out." He goes, "That's what these guys are here for. These stock guys over here, these workers over here, that's what they do. And just ask them and they'll do that." I'm like, "They will?" He goes, "Yeah, man, what's your problem?" And then I was like, boom, lesson learned. So it was easy for him to tell me. I didn't know anything about retail. I didn't know anything about delegation at all.
This manager's like, this guy don't know nothing about delegation. He don't even know what the word means.
Yeah. And many years later, then I found myself my last job where a lot of it was delegation. It's like, and it's easier said than done, right? Because you have to make sure that you find the appropriate person to do the appropriate job and that you manage that, right? All the stuff that goes with delegation, right? But then now with my Amazon business, I got the systems in place. And I've heard this somewhere. We had one of those interviews. The guy said, "Look, I like to figure out something myself first before I outsource it, before I delegate it," which is really good because now I know what goes into it. I'm like, okay, this is how I box these things. This is how I bag these things. This is how the system works. Let's do it this way. Cool. I like that. Okay, cool. So I figure it out. Sometimes the employee will say, "Hey, I think there's a better way to do this." Great. Let's talk about it. And then, cool, this is how it's done. And then the job gets done more quickly, more efficiently, maybe even faster than what I would do myself. So I really love the idea of having a team of people that I can delegate to, and it's also providing jobs and money for people who need additional money. So it's really a win-win. And Mandy even said, my wife even said, why are you doing this business anyway? Like, what's your why? Is you just trying to make money? And I was like, I had to think about that for a little bit. Yeah, I enjoy making money, but I'm starting to realize there's a lot of other things too that are there's a lot of other things that are a good reason why I'm doing this business. I think one of them is being able to pay people who gladly accept that money from me and are doing a huge service for me, that I can focus on other aspects of my business and also launch other businesses as well. So it's been really exciting right now.
Yeah. I've known you for a long time. I know you're a really hard worker. You're a doer. And I could see where, and we all fall victim to that, even if we're not super hard workers or doers, which I find myself pretty much in that same category as you.
Yeah.
But it's like, with my welding projects, that side hustle things I'd done, for years I'd done it by myself, and I'd figured out how to get like $1,000 a day. I kind of keep the track of it. The most I've ever made in one day was $1,000, and I'd get close to that, but and it'd be a long day. I just couldn't hardly break the $1,000.
Yeah.
And at one point, I kind of got so popular with so much stuff needing to be done, and word got out that I could do it and all this, that I was like, I've sold so much work, I need to get some help, or I'm going to be out here for 2 days, 3 days.
Yeah.
And that's going to be spread across weekends. So it's going to be 3 weeks out. And I'm like, I don't want to tell people that. So I got Evan Waugh, that went to church, used to go to church with us. Mm-hmm. Got him to come out and help me. And I was telling one of my customers when I was selling turf about it. And he's like, man, my son's taking some welding classes and he'd love to come out and help you too. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I got his contact.
Nice.
And the most money I ever made was I think we worked about a 12-hour day, 2 helpers. I had that many different jobs going on in that neighborhood in Rowlett, Waterview. And I was $40 shy. After paying these guys $25 an hour each, I was $40 shy of making $3,000 for the day.
Beautiful.
And I was just like, eyes open. Wow. Number one, I didn't have to carry the bags of concrete. The young guys the 18 and 19-year-olds were more than happy to carry the concrete over. Hey, guys, carry the concrete over, bring the welder over, bring the fence panels over. I'm just kind of making sure things are getting done right. I'm doing the welding. Now, if I was smarter and even better at delegating, I would say, okay, I want you to start doing the welding, and then I'm going to look it over, and I'm going to go, okay, this needs to be a little more this way. You need to do this a little different, and get them tuned in. But I have got them to the point where I can trust them to go, okay, this is the fence section I need painted, paint it, and they do a great job. I have sent Evan out on a welding job, but fortunately / unfortunately, I've helped Evan get a really good roofing job, and he's making a bunch of money now. Right, and he probably would no longer be interested in going out and welding for me. He might, but but I'm super happy for him that he's doing so well.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I just think that anytime you have a business that you can delegate, you really should. And sometimes you are why people hire you, right? If you're a consultant and they really want your knowledge about something, sometimes you can't delegate that, right? So I think that I've heard it said, I think this is what Jim Cockrum says as well. Do only the things you can do. Do the things that you do best, or do the things only you can do, and then leave the rest up to somebody else, right? So I think you can't remove yourself entirely from something, right? I think what you're good at, what you're strong at, emphasize those things. And I remember like my Doug Brooks over when I used to work at Brinker, he said, look, I'm great with people. I'm a CEO. I'm great with people. That's what I've always been good at. I'm not great at finances. I'm not great. So I hired a really strong CFO. I'm not going to even question his numbers, right? A lot of CEOs are really in those numbers. He wasn't. He's like, I have a CFO that's really strong. And from a marketing perspective, I'm decent at marketing, but I hired a really strong CMO. Again, it's like common sense. Of course, you need those roles. But I have to say, sometimes these CEOs are really, really involved with all the positions. But in his case, he knew where his weaknesses are. And so he was very careful at hiring the right people. And that goes to say in any business really as well. Like when you hire people, just make sure that you know what you're getting. And it's if you don't know how to do something and you're relying completely on somebody else, you probably should surround yourself with some advisors that say, yes, this is a good person to hire. Does that make sense? Right. So if I don't know how to do something, you better figure it out if that's a good person or not for that role. And I think that's that conversation we had a couple of weeks ago was like, oh, I'll just figure it out myself. Yeah, sometimes you don't have time to figure out how to do something. Well, that's when you need to make sure that you get the right person to do that job, because that's how people get taken advantage of, right?
Back to the welding thing, it's like, I didn't want to let go of the welding part of it because I knew I could do it correctly. And if I do it correctly, we don't have to come back. If one of the guys does it and it's not done correct and the weld fails, it's a fence. Nobody's going to die, but it's not like a trailer coming loose from a truck. But then I'm going to have to come back and fix it, and it's going to be at no charge, of course, that kind of thing. And I heard a guy say once, he goes, how did you grow your business? And he said, as soon as I could find somebody that could do my job 60% as good as I could, I let them have it, and I moved on to something else. And it's like, that is not that easy to do, especially when you're a worker and a doer, because you want to do it yourself. But I mean, as you know, like the kind of probably one of the easier tasks that you have is, boxing up products to ship out. It's easy in one way, it needs to be done right. And you're really fast at it. You're probably faster than anybody else that works with you, but it's just not a good use of your time. If they can do it 60 to 80% as fast as you, let them have it.
There you go. And tying all back to Amazon influencer, don't have all the answers about how you can delegate. There's some things you can probably delegate. We don't have all the answers, but be thinking outside the box. That expression is so overused, but whatever. Be thinking like creatively about how can you do that? Do you have, for instance, you have one account, but your wife is like, I could do some reviews for you. Do you have some kids that are interested in doing that? Do you have, whatever? I mean, and if you have a small business, are there employees that work for you that might be interested in helping? I mean, that other guy, I don't know if he ever got in, but we were helping him for a while. He had some employees and they were doing some of his reviews.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is it needs to be authentic though. And that's the thing, that's the most important thing, Jim. And I think that's, maybe some people don't think it's that important, but it's really important that ideally you have some interest or some experience with that product you're reviewing. It's going to show through, right? So to me, if you can extend, like, for instance, I think you said Anne Marie's done some reviews for you. She can do some hair products. She can do some cosmetic products, whatever, things that you're probably not, it'd be silly for you to do lipstick or something, right? But she might be able to do that. So there's things like that as well. And you guys who are, around multiple people who are, I don't know, I'm sure there's some people who have several roommates. Have you thought about this? Don't think creatively about this, saying, well, what am I going to pay them? Figure it out. Figure out what works. And you might find yourself, wow, expand this greatly. Because, I'm kind of hitting a wall with a number of things I can review. I'm like, yeah, I guess I could do the ceiling fan here. Actually, the other one, this was old right here. But, there's a couple of things more I can do, but I need to sort of think about other ways to do this. And so I am, expanding in some ways here. We'll see what happens. But I think, when you start hitting a wall, think outside the box and figure out where else can you get products to review. And I think that
like you said,
is a huge thing. Go ahead.
You mentioned roommates. I mean, if you're a young adult and you've got roommates, or whatever your case is, you've got roommates, and let's say they're traveling over the holidays like I am, they're probably a little bit familiar with you reviewing some of your stuff, probably some of their stuff as well.
Yeah.
You go, hey, you're going home to your parents' house. Do they have anything on Amazon? I'm looking for preferably higher value items, but if you could find me something that's over $100, maybe I could pay you a couple dollars, or treat you to a steak dinner when you get back, or something along those lines that would be fun, and something for you both to look forward to, and for you to get a few videos. Cody gave the example of the mouse deterrent thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that expensive. He sold a whole bunch of them. If one of your roommates come back with that, you throw the video up, you took them out, and you spent $75 on the two of y'all to eat at a not too expensive steak restaurant, then that could easily pay for itself and then some, and keep paying for it.
Yeah, here's what you do. So I went over my father-in-law's house, and went over my sister-in-law's house one time, and guess what? They've bought things since then, haven't they? They really have. So I even said to my sister-in-law the other day, hey, do you have any more stuff? She's like, yeah, they come on over. And it's as simple to say, hey, here's a $50 gift card to, your favorite place, whatever, Chewy's or whatever she wants to go. Yeah, CC's. Actually, give her $50 card. She loves CC's, believe it or not. But it is simple as that. And then some people
sometimes a $10 Starbucks gift card will more than suffice.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I just think it's just, and we were talking about this also. It's a little awkward sometimes asking some people. I get not everyone knows what we do, but just get over this weird place where you're afraid to ask people. It doesn't really matter. Does it really matter what people think about you? I mean, unfortunately, I've been plagued by that most of my life. But at some point, just ask. And the worst thing they're going to say is no, and you're really weird for asking. You go, yep, I certainly am weird. Once I actually started saying I am weird, and then they just go, it's kind of disarming because it's like, okay, yeah, who? I mean, I think to me, who is normal anyway? So I don't want to be normal. So don't be afraid to ask. Get out of your comfort zone, and you'll find that a lot of doors will be open to you. So this is this business here.
I said, yeah, catch us on our course. I think if you're struggling on some of this, not only are we going to have detailed, easy to access material on how to get out of your struggle, we're going to have Q&As. So if you get into this course and you want to ask us a question direct, then absolutely you can. We'll get that figured out. And look, guys, you're on the podcast. If you want to ask us a question direct, jump on the group and you can ask your questions. And if it's not Andrew and I helping you, it'll be somebody from the community that knows what's going on. So Andrew is super engaged in that. I am somewhat engaged in it as well, and we'll get you some help.
Yeah, and big shout also to Jill. Jill posted recently with her success. So she was one of our guests back several months ago, actually. And congratulations on just some great numbers. Your first $100 day, I believe. That's fantastic. And we've had some other people posting stories about their success. I'm sorry I've forgotten some, but I just top of mind. I remember Jill posted recently. And then, guys, I also posted a survey. For those who are on our Facebook group, it's Side Hustle Heroes HQ, as Jim Ed said. And there is a survey I posted. So we'd love to hear about what your opinions of the podcast are. If this is the only reason you join our group, just go ahead and join the group, and then you'll see the little survey. Take the survey. Let us know what you think about it. We just 3 easy questions. We'd love to get your feedback. It's really important about what we're taking our podcast to. Okay, we want to know, like, do you want us to have guests that are only Amazon influencer, or do you want us to have guests that talk about other things? So that's one of the main things. Or do you want not have guests at all? It seems like you guys like guests, but we want to understand like what's going on, and we want to have feedback as far as what other things should we talk about that we're not doing already.
Yeah, so Jill, killer on having almost 200 videos up, having a well over $100 day. That is awesome. Michael, that we had on the podcast, he posted in the Facebook group the other day that he had, right. I think it was a either $264 or $268 commission on one product. Dude.
Yeah, that's right.
I've never had a commission that big on a single product. Great job, Michael. That is just amazing.
And these guys, and again, you can say we're all busy, right? We're all busy. Those two are really busy, okay? And they're getting it done. So there's just really no excuses. If you're not getting stuff done, you're just not making a priority, okay? I understand, like, how dare you say that? No, there's probably some people out there that I get it. You probably don't have any time at all. I understand. I'm respectful of that. But it's about priorities, right? If I wanted to get 300 videos done, doggone it, I could do it, right? I can get those things done. And that's the way it is, right? So just put your mind to it. If you really want to make this work, make it work. There's flexibility, but if you look at some of the numbers and say, oh, I can never get there, then you're not going to get there. But say, I can get there, and here's how I'm going to make this happen. So make it happen, guys, and get out there and do some reviews, and God bless you.
Yep. I hope this podcast is an inspiration to you guys. Use it for that, and we will see you on the next one.
Take care, buddy.